Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm Stephen Parker. I'm a realtor and real estate investor in beautiful Nashville, Tennessee. And today we're going to talk about dollar cost averaging with your real estate investments. This came up recently with a client of mine who is sort of a prolific condo buyer and was very used to in years past getting condos in particular neighborhoods at a particular price point. And with the 2021 market being what it is, people were testing the limits inside those developments. And there were a couple of properties that he went after, and they just ended up going for way more than he could justify on paper as an investment, so he let them go. But as he continued to see deals not go through at the price he wanted, he realized that he needed to pay a little bit more if he still wanted to get into this neighborhood. The neighborhood itself was established, had great management. The places rented out really well. The taxes were low. Everything looked good on paper, and he had margins in his budget. He just didn't want to use them up. So we found a place that was actually not on the market, and I found it canvassing the neighborhood and asking people there if they knew of anyone in that neighborhood that was looking to sell. And we actually found a for sale by owner, a FSBO, and started talking to them. The price was higher than he was used to paying by about $10,000, if not $15,000. Now, he was buying cash, but he was going to buy it in cash and then almost immediately flip it over into a mortgage. So while we were going through inspections and things like that, he went ahead and got financing lined up, had the appraiser come out, and it actually appraised at $20,000 under what he purchased it for. Now, this was an out-of-state appraiser that didn't quite get this neighborhood in this area of Nashville, so we weren't super surprised, and it didn't really bother us. But my buyer really sort of said, "Wow, I really feel like I'm overpaying on this one, and it's really bothering me." And I said, the next one that we're getting into is, closer to $229,000 for a very similar unit. So if you average those out, it comes out to where you've essentially paid $259,000 for each of them. Now you're going to have one on one side, the $229,000 property is going to probably have a bit more of a margin each month, whereas the 289 is going to be, maybe not cash flowing quite as good, but if you put those two side by side, they should kind of balance out. And then he's also got, I don't know, probably 10 to 15 other units between this neighborhood and another neighborhood. So when you really start to average that out, 229, 289, and then some that he got like under 200, that of course brings everything down. So your overall cost of doing business is a bit lower. So much like the stock market, we use what's called dollar cost averaging when we look at multiple investments. So if you buy, I'm making up numbers here, but if you buy Apple stock at $250 a share, and then you bought more at $500 a share, when you average that out, your average cost per share is $375 per share. And as the old adage goes, time in the market is much better than trying to time the market. So if you continually buy on the highs and the lows, the averages should keep you pretty safe as long as the stock performs well. Same thing goes for properties. In this particular case, the buyer knows this neighborhood. He's been investing here for almost a decade, and he likes to pick these places off whenever they come up. But when he first started, they were around $170,000, and even 5 years ago, he was getting them for under $200,000, and now they've just shot up like crazy, and he's getting them for $229, $259, and this last one at $289. Now, this property was a bit unique. It happened to be an in-unit. It was very close to most of the amenities in the neighborhood and it actually backed up to a green space. So unlike some of the other properties that he paid less for that have a parking lot on the front and either an alley or another parking lot on the back, this one had a patio and some usable green space in the back. Lots of mature trees. So really the crux of what I'm trying to say is don't focus solely on the price that you pay. Yes, it's important. Yes, it has to make sense. Yes, there has to be room in there to pay property taxes and to find renters. And if you're doing property management, to get property management, all that has to be accounted for. But if you want a place and you already know a neighborhood and like it, and you're going to buy more and you're going to hold for a while, don't worry as much about paying just a little bit more. Now, there's no need to get crazy. And if this price had been any higher, I don't think we would have moved forward with this particular property. But in the grand scheme of things, that property has closed. We're on to the next one, and I'm going to reach out to more people in this neighborhood to see if anybody else wants to sell. Hey, if you like these kind of videos, please consider subscribing to my channel. You can hit the subscribe button down below. You can also give me a thumbs up, and you can hit the little bell and be notified whenever I put out a new video. I'm Stephen Parker, and you can find me on YouTube, Instagram, and on my website, stephenrparker.com. Thanks again for stopping by, and I'll see you next time.